There we are. And then thank you. Now at this time, we ask you to please mute your mics for the best sound experience. Otherwise, feedback could interfere with the information we'll be sharing with you today. So without further ado, here's Mr. Paul Hodgkin, and I'm going to go ahead and get the PowerPoint ready for him.
Hi, everyone. This is Mr. Hodgkin. I'm a biology instructor at El Paso Community College Valle Verde campus. And I like to see my students succeed. So I'm very glad that you're here because we're going to be sharing some information that will give you a leg up towards success. I want to start with just a discussion. You can write in the chat if you like. What kinds of things are you hoping to get out of college? You obviously spend a lot of time, you spend money going to college. Tell me in the chat some of the things that you're hoping will pay off from your investment in college. And while you're doing that, I'll just mention that when I was in college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my career. I just knew I wanted to go to college. I knew that my parents told me it was a good idea to go to college. I knew I was supposed to do well in my classes, but I didn't really have any direction other than that. And so I'm interested just to see if any of you have some things that specific things you're hoping to get out of college. Does anybody have anything for the chat? Well, what I'll do is I'll tell you a couple of things that I think students oftentimes overlook when they look at college. So, number one, that you're supposed to get good grades. Number two, that when you get done with college, you want to have a good job. But oftentimes what they don't tell you when they're telling you to do well in your classes is the people who are going to hire you for a job, those people, yes, they want to know that you did well in your classes, but what they really want is experience. They want to know that you have work experience in the field that you're interested in going into. And so what we're going to be talking about today are a couple of programs that have been designed by El Paso Community College professors to help students not just succeed in their courses at EPCC, but to give them the kind of work experience that will allow them to be able to get those jobs. And in particular, these are research jobs we're talking about today. So you might have seen through videos, scientists, people discovering things, cures for diseases, or like right now with the epidemic going on, we're relying on scientists to help us understand what kinds of things can be done about coronavirus. What is safe to do, what's not safe to do. All of that are things that scientists tell us to do. And myself and Professor Rosalia Ortega, we both are involved in research science. And so we have a couple of programs that we want to invite you to apply to if you're interested in becoming an academic researcher for a career. And we have two tracks that we're going to talk about. Professor Ortega is going to talk about research in what's called the biomedical field. So that has to do with like cancer, heart disease, coronavirus, HIV, multiple sclerosis, like things that you've heard about that people have problems with in terms of diseases and conditions. So the research program she does deals with that. And then when she's done talking, I will come on and talk about a different branch of biology, an internship that I offer that has to do with ecology, evolutionary biology, and environmental science. So right now, I'm going to introduce Professor Rosalia Ortega. She's one of our greatest professors here at the college. She teaches almost every biology course that you could possibly take at the Valle Verde campus. And she also runs the very prestigious Bridges to the Baccalaureate program that she's going to talk about right now. So Rosalia, why don't you come and tell us about your internship?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Paul, for that very generous introduction. So as Professor Hodgkin mentioned, my name is Professor Rosalia Ortega, and I am the coordinator for the EPCC UTEP Bridges to the Baccalaureate Research Training Program. This program focuses on biomedical research, and it actually branches out into many different fields. As Professor Hodgkin mentioned, right, it has to do with everything that scientists are trying to do in order to discover treatments, medication, or early detection of disease, and even vaccines, right? All of this falls under the big umbrella that is biomedical research. And what we are trying to do with this EPCC UTEP Bridges program is it's pretty much what the name says, right? We're trying to bridge our EPCC students to UTEP, and we're trying to create a foundation for these for STEM students to become trained and receive the experience that they need in order to be successful after college. The EPCC UTEP Bridges program is looking for STEM majors to participate, so science, technology, engineering, and math majors. The reason that we're looking for STEM, right, is because you will be working with scientists at UTEP that will train you in a year-long or year-round biomedical internship in research labs. So I just want to clarify that maybe you are if you're a science major, right, this would include biology, chemistry, physics, psychology, and we have a lot of students that come in as nursing students, and of course, we are welcoming everybody that's interested in getting this training, education in biomedical research. We have many of our students become medical doctors, physicians assistants, nursing students, etc. So who is eligible? Of course, any student that is a current EPCC student is welcome to apply. If you're an EPCC student, you're eligible. And one of the advantages of the Bridges program is that we also accept early college students. If you are an early college student, you have to be at least 16 years old in order to apply. And this year-round program, its focus or its objective is to expose students to potential careers in biomedical research, so that so that you can pretty much apply the theory that's learned in class into a hands-on project or hands-on sort of experience. Okay, we have 12 spots available, so 12 students are going to be selected every year. This program was renewed, the grant was renewed this year, so right now we are running the year number 1, the first cohort, and we are about to start the second year in the summer. So we have 4 more years to go. Go to the next slide. Okay, so what are the benefits of being a Bridges student? Well, besides the experience, right? Besides the learning, the knowledge that comes with being a part of this prestigious program, there are other benefits, monetary benefits. So students that are selected to be part of the program will be paid a monthly scholarship. That means that when you start the Bridges program in June, you will start being paid for being part of the program as part of the internship. You become a working scientist, right, at UTEP, and you will get monthly salary, a scholarship of $1,114 for 12 months, which is, of course, the duration of the program. Another benefit is tuition scholarship. Every student will receive a total of $1,800, and it will be split between the fall and spring semester. So since the program starts in June, $900 would actually be applied for the fall semester of 2021, and another $900 to the spring semester of 2022. And ultimately, of course, you get research experience. You, if depending on the situation, depending where the pandemic, where we stand within the pandemic next year, students might be able to travel to a science conference. And you can see on this picture that I provided, where students were able to travel to the Abercrombie's conference. Bridges pays for your expenses, your flight, your hotel, and your meals. And of course, you get to experience the science. You get to meet other scientists, other students from all over the country, and you get to present your project, whatever project you are giving as a research student. You get to meet the faculty at UTEP, and you will make great friends along the way. So what are the biomedical research opportunities? There is like I said, it's a big umbrella, right? If we talk about biomedical research, and the bioscience department at UTEP actually has a great department. So if you become part of this program, you can pick, you will be able to select the lab you want to work at. So these are some of the different fields, biomedical fields that are being explored at UTEP right now. So you can carry out research on cancer, HIV, neurobiology, viral diseases such as Zika and influenza. I know that now some professors are also studying the COVID-19 virus. And these are only some of the opportunities, right? There's going to be more. And of course, the knowledge, like I mentioned, it's it's going to be putting to work what you've learned in science classes. Okay. Program requirements. If you're interested in applying for the Bridges program, these are the main requirements. So you have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. Your GPA must be 2.8 or above. You have to be a current EPCC student. As I mentioned, early college students are eligible. And you have to be a current EPCC student because the program, the cycle will start in the summer in June. And you will also, which takes us to the next point, you start in June, but then a requirement is that you are a full-time EPCC student during the fall of 2021 and spring of 22. Because the program is going to last from June 2021 to May 2022. And another requirement is for every student that applies, they have to attend the UTEP Mentor Symposium, which will be scheduled in April 2021. So in a couple of months, we still don't have the exact date. So we still have to figure that out. But the reason why students are supposed to attend the symposium is because this is where they get to meet the UTEP professors. They learn what type of biomedical research they do in their labs, and they learn about their current findings. Because of the COVID situation, this mentor symposium will be held online via Teams or maybe Zoom or Blackboard. We still do not have that information, but it's something that I can provide probably within the next month. A few more internship details that I mentioned some of them already. So if students are interested in applying for the upcoming year, Those students that are selected will start the Bridges program in June 2021, and it will run year-long until May 2022. The time spent in the labs will be a little bit different depending on what time of the year we're in. So if you are you are a full-time student during the fall and spring semester, we recognize that your number one priority is your school, right? Doing well in your classes, excelling, being able to excel as a student. So during the fall and spring semesters, students are expected to spend about approximately 15 to 19 hours a week at UTEP. Okay, so it's not a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 kind of schedule. You make up your own schedule because you have access to these labs 24/7. You have special access, so you pretty much set up your schedule for laboratory access. But during the summer, which is when the program starts, students are expected to put in approximately 40 hours per week during June and July before the semester actually begins. So as I mentioned, these are hours per week. The very last bullet lets you know that the program might be hybrid or online format. We still do not know. This year, we have pretty much stayed online for the whole year. There is very few students that have been able to get access to the UTEP labs, but for the most part, we're staying online. And depending on the COVID situation from here to June, depending on the CDC guidelines and UTEP guidelines that have to be followed, we might either stay online completely or be hybrid or actually have access to the lab. So that's an update that would have to be given to you as we near the summer. And if you're interested in applying for the Bridges program, you want to explore biomedical research because you're interested in disease or treating disease or finding out how it is that that discoveries are made, well, please do contact me. You have my email address here, orte101@epcc.edu. And I will send you the application. The application deadline was just extended up to March 5th. So please contact me as soon as you can. I'll send you the application. You have to send it back to me with your resume and your unofficial transcripts. And all of this is provided for you on the application so that you know exactly what you need. And I'll start creating your files, and then I'll keep you updated as to the symposium and everything that we have to do to prepare you for interviewing and becoming part of the program. And with that being said, I hope to receive a few applications. If you have friends that you know might be interested, please let them know, send them my way, and I hope to meet you soon so that we can train you and you can be the future of biomedical research. Thank you. If you have any questions, please go ahead and let me know. I can answer any questions that you may have. Okay, so it seems like there's no questions. If a question comes up maybe later on today or tomorrow, please feel free to contact me. I'll be waiting to see if anybody reaches out. And now we're going to switch over to our next research program, which is Professor Hodgkin's STEMGrow program that he's going to explain. It's also branches from the field of biology, but it has a more of an ecological and environmental focus. So, Professor Hodgkin, you have, go ahead.
Okay, So thank you very much, Rosalia. That was an interesting presentation about bridges. And my program is somewhat similar. We do a summer research internship. I suppose the difference is in STEMGrow, we only go during the summer. So we do 40 hours a week during the summer, and we work at a place called the Rio Bosque Wetlands Park. So that is down near Socorro, sort of near the Zaragoza Bridge. In fact, you can see the border there in that picture. And those students have nets. We're trying to catch dragonflies in that particular picture. So what Professor Ortega mentioned was she studies biomedical things. In STEMGrow, we study ecology, evolutionary biology, environmental science, things that we generally have to go outside and measure or catch, and then we come back to the lab, analyze our data, and very much like Professor Ortega's Bridges program, by the end of the summer, you end up coming up with a research poster. So let's go on to the next slide, please. So the program is from June 1st through July 31st. We don't know yet whether we're going to be online or hybrid. Like last summer we were online. I'm predicting we'll be online again, but we may have the opportunity to do hybrid format if UTEP determines that the COVID numbers are low enough. You do work 40 hours a week, $10 an hour, and specifically, if you apply for this, I'm looking for students who are ecology, evolutionary biology, and environmental science majors. And what you get out of this program is you don't just learn science, but you gain a lot of science friends. And what I mean by that is professors and graduate students at UTEP that will have a vested interest in seeing you succeed and being your friend within the academic world. And you'll also become friends with your fellow STEMGrow interns. So there will be 10 of you. And how would you like to be able to go to UTEP when you transfer with 10 friends who you already know, who you can take classes with? So that's one of the advantages of that. Next slide, please. Another advantage is that you get to see one of the only true wetlands in El Paso. We obviously live in a desert, it's very dry here, but the Rio Bosque Wetlands Park is a 372-acre park right down on the border, and it's an ecological restoration site. What that means is they're trying to build the ecosystem to be the way it was before we put all the channels in and before we started farming in the area. So you can see here we grow the kinds of plants that you would expect to see maybe like in Austin or Houston, but not in El Paso. Well, believe it or not, we used to have lots of plants like this throughout El Paso, especially along the river, before people got here and started using all the water. So you get to see a very unique ecosystem within our region. Next slide, please. And I'm going to list a couple of the projects that you could be doing if you got involved. So what this team is doing is they are looking at what are called macro invertebrates. Macro means big, invertebrates means an animal that doesn't have a backbone. So think of like that picture at the bottom, that's a dragonfly larva, damselfly larva, snails, worms, all of those sorts of things that live in the water. What they do is they study it to see how clean the water is. It turns out that that what you can do is you can do research that shows how good the water quality is by looking for what kind of invertebrate is there. It turns out some invertebrates are only capable of living in very clean water. So if you don't find that kind of invertebrate in the water, you know that the water's not all that clean. So that's one of the things that we do. Another one that we do is we monitor mosquitoes. So you may know this, that mosquitoes carry disease. Well, mosquitoes carry diseases like West Nile virus, dengue fever. In places like Africa, they carry malaria. So we're very concerned about what kinds of mosquitoes are out there and what kind of diseases they are carrying. So this is Miguel Alcala, one of our interns from a couple of years ago, who was measuring what he could find in terms of mosquitoes. And that upside down cooler actually has dry ice in it, and it releases carbon dioxide. You know why we want to release carbon dioxide? It's because mosquitoes are attracted to your breath. They want to smell the carbon dioxide coming out of you, because if they smell carbon dioxide, it means there's a mammal with blood in it that they could suck and get a meal. So we trap them using carbon dioxide traps like that. The next slide has to do with another insect system. This is dragonflies. So dragonflies are important in our ecosystem because they eat mosquitoes. I don't know if you've ever been around like a wet area at night, but a lot of times you'll see dragonflies, and what they're doing is they're being predators. They're catching mosquitoes and reducing the mosquito population. And this is Nikki Donegan, one of our interns who was studying the dragonflies. And another interesting system that we were studying were pollinators. So it turns out that the Chihuahuan Desert, where we live in El Paso, has among the greatest diversity of bee species in the world. Like when you think about bees, usually you just think about honeybees. But it turns out honeybees are not even native to El Paso. We just brought them here for honey and to pollinate things. But we have thousands of bee species that live in El Paso that are valuable that we don't really even know very much about. And so this student on the top here, her name is Brianna Neria, and she is a bee expert. She's one of our STEMGrow interns, and she would catch and identify the bees and then write scientific publications about bees. And at the end of the summer, this is what it looks like. You've produced all of this great research, and now you want to show it off to people. So at UTEP, we have a symposium where you show all about your research. You can see how colorful those are. A lot of the colors on these graphs, on these posters, are graphs of the students' data that they took, or maps that they made, and then the text on those are their research findings. So they tell what kind of methods they used in their research, and then they talk about what they found because of their research. And as I said, you end up with a lot of friends at the end of the summer. So with both Bridges and STEMGrow, you will remember the other students who went in it, not just because you were involved for the summer or for the long semesters, but because you will have made friends who will have helped you get through school. It's always nice to go to UTEP knowing people. And so if you're interested in the STEMGrow program, this is my contact information, photchke@epcc.edu. And I'm currently accepting applications. So what I will do is I will wait for an email from you. And if you send me an email, I will send you an application, and then I'll give you a due date for the application. I usually give you about 3 or 4 days to finish it. And then we set up a Zoom interview with you so that me and my 2 co-workers at UTEP who also run this program can meet you and decide whether your interests are in line with what we do in the STEMGrow program. And with that, I will open it to questions. Does anybody have questions about the projects that we do, or the compensation, or the timing, or any of the items I mentioned? Okay, well, if not, I'll turn it back over to our organizers so that they can complete the program.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Hodgkin and Mrs. Ortega, for your wonderful presentations today. We would like to thank the audience for coming today. You've been a quiet but wonderful audience. And while we go on here, I'm going to go ahead and I will share with you the OLA PDF. All right. So we would like to encourage everyone to download the Online Assistance PDF, or OLA PDF for short. Here's the link so you'll be able to download it. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat for you. There we are. And you download it to your computer, and then once it's there, you can open it up and you can see all the online services available to you. It's 2 pages long. It's got the Student for Students with Disabilities, it's got counseling, it's got the Connect Center. It's also got online tutoring, which is open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to midnight. We recently acquired many more biology tutors from Mr. Hodgkin's NIMS department, and they're absolutely wonderful. We also have the Student Success Tutor Finder. So for the Tutor Finder, if you have a particular course you want to look up tutors for, or perhaps you went to one of the sessions and you really liked a particular tutor, you're able to sign in with your EPCC credentials, and from there you can either select the course or view all the tutors and see their schedules. Again, you just click that link, you download the OLA PDF to your computer, and then once you open it up, you can click on any of those places and it'll take you right where you need to go. So the next thing I'm going to share with you is Tohono passports. There we are. And let me go ahead and copy the Tohono passport for this week. There we go. And I'll put it into the chat for you guys. There you go. That's our Tohono passport code. So we'd like to invite you to participate in Tohono passports. You join us here at Tohono virtual events each week, and at the end of the session, we'll give you a code that you can use towards your own free medallion. If you're already participating, the code's in the chat. If not, it's not too late to join. This code will be good later when you sign up. It will be valid until midnight tonight. For more information, you can go to this link, which will give you all the information and the steps to sign up. Copy and paste. There you go. And that's all the information on Tohono passports. And then the last thing I would like to do is invite y'all to the sessions coming up. So let me go ahead and pull up the calendar. There we go. So on Friday, we're going to have tools to get you started and stay on track. That'll be for our careers and degrees. That is from Fridays from 1 to 2. And then also on Friday at 3 p.m., we're going to have a review for Exam 1 questions and answers session with our fabulous math instructors that help us with that. And we hope you have a wonderful spring semester. And again, I want you to know that online tutoring is open and here for you. Thank you again to Mr. Hodgkin and Ms. Ortega for letting us know more about the STEMGrow and the Bridges internship opportunities. And thank you, audience, for being a wonderful audience. At this time, is there any questions? Is there a deadline for the STEMGrow summer program?
So Clara, what I'm doing right now for STEMGrow is I'm accepting the applications, and I'll probably accept the last application sometime next week. So if you send me an email today, what I will do is I'll send you an application and then give you a, I will give you a, about 4 days to turn it in, and then we would schedule an interview for you probably like about a week from right now. So that's the time frame that we're going for. I see Patricia has asked a question, are we working online? So what we don't know yet, Patricia, is whether we're going to be fully online or whether we'll be hybrid. I seriously doubt we'll be full-on face-to-face the way we have done in semesters prior. Last summer we were online, but we still had students doing those kinds of research projects. What we did is we delivered equipment to the students' homes, and then they worked and did some research right out of their homes. So it was all electronic with the exception of some equipment they were using at their home. Any other questions?
Any other questions for Mr. Hodgkin, Ms. Ortega, or about the TBEs or student success?